Morning, this is Brian. Today is Thursday, May 15th, 2025, and I'm over here parked on Proctor Valley Road here in Jamul by the San Diego National Wildlife Refuge. Here at this little gate right here. My plan today is to hike up to this one peak over here named Lexington Peak. 1,525 foot summit in the area. See how this goes, and then there's another peak nearby, unnamed peak, 1,463 feet. I'm going to try to see if maybe I could visit that one too. So we'll see how this goes. It's another relatively early start for me today. Let's see what time it is. Just before 6:30, 6:22 right now. We'll see if I can make another adventure this week. Glad I'm getting out this week. Next week's going to be another heat wave during my days off, of course. So we'll see how that goes. So we're here a little bit above 900 feet above sea level. And like I said, my goal is to get up to 1,525 foot Lexington Peak, and probably its neighboring peak 1463. So my first round of business is to get through this old dirt road here, follow this for a little while, and I'm going to look for a use trail on the right. It's going to lead me to the ridgeline where Lexington Peak is located. Now if I find that trail, my goal is aim straight up towards the ridgeline, A, and B, once I get to that ridgeline via use trail, I'm going to be looking out for a fainter track at the ridgeline T intersection, and to my right will be peak 1463. To my left will be Lexington Peak. So we'll see how this goes today. Should be an interesting day out here. Got a little marine layer this morning. Temperatures are probably in the mid to upper 50s right now. It shouldn't be an extraordinarily long hike, but we'll see how this goes. All right, time to start working my way up this. There's a ridgeline up there. Looks like one of those peaks has a flag on it. See how this goes. Now, there's a peak up there. There's a flag on it. This is my last picture. Don't know if that's going to be it or not. I've read trip reports. I've seen a couple trip reports, and I didn't see any mention of a flag. Hoping the use trail comes before that property over there, because I originally was going to park a bit further down and go up there, but there are some unrestrained dogs over there, and I do not want to deal with that. Okay, what we got over here? Is there going to be a use trail from here? Let's see. Let's see. Take a look over here somewhere. See if I find a use trail. see. Don't know yet. I'm hoping this is a use trail here. Let's see. Looks like it. This might be a use trail. Expecting any trails that I find today are going to be very, very thin. Alright, well, this looks like a use trail. Right where that little cleared spot is, right across the trail from the trail's a weird fenced off area. So, okay. I think I'm in business. Let's see. Does appear to be some kind of a use trail. Let's see if it continues. I don't think so. Looked like one. Let's see. Get towards this laurel sumac and see. Get up here and see. Alright. I don't think so. Seemed like it at first. Explore a little bit more. Let me see. I give up on it just yet. Let me see. I get through these shrubs here and see. It's hard to tell. It's coastal sage scrub. Sometimes there's some pretty wide spots between the shrubs. So what can look like a use trail can be quite misleading. Well, I know the end of the houses there is going to be my guiding bit. Looks like we got something here. I think. I don't know. I don't think so. Might not have got far enough. Alright. I'm gonna go back down to the road. I don't know. I might have to go further along the road. Plus there's a barbed wire fence just up there too, so I don't know. This might just be a game trail for all I know. Pretty interesting rocks out here. Alright, well, let's see. Probably have to go back to the old dirt road for now. Yeah. Okay, I'm just about there. Or no, I thought I was. But no, there's some more country over here, open country over here to navigate to get back to the road. So apparently that's not it, because it's supposed to be a little more followable than that. I definitely, in hindsight, did not appear to be an actual use trail like I was hoping. Alright, well, get myself back to the road and reevaluate. So I'm trying to navigate my way back. Nice granite slab here. At least I'll know approximately where I was. Just trying to see if I could find a path to get back without bushwhacking. Okay. Might have to do a little light bushwhacking, I don't know, maybe. Let's get off of this slab really quickly. Guess I might have to. Just a little bit here. Get back to the road. Trying to minimize how much off trail. Oh, this is not good. It's not a good spot right here. Like I said, I'm trying to minimize the amount of craziness. A, B, just don't want to bushwhack, really. All right, I'm gonna have to go over the slab again. Let's see. It's a steep but easy slab to walk. So, no big deals here. Let's see. I have to push through some brush. Let me see. Came from that way. I left the trail somewhere about over there. Trying to see if I can see where there's an easier path. Let's see. A little bit of a misadventure, but let's see. I know I saw a trail. Came up on what looked like probably just a game trail. So yeah. I don't know what the deal is. I'll have to just cut through here or something. Old chaparral yucca stalk right there from years past. Let's see. Let's see which way to go. Sagebrush is not that hard to bushwhack through, but try not to have to, so I don't end up breaking all the shrubs. But did lose the trail, whatever trail there was, briefly. And now it's turning into a bushwhack right now. Not nearly as hard as bushwhacking chaparral, but it ain't fun either. All right. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that spruce trail was now. Back on the road now, but I'm further back than where I left. A good 80 feet or so. Yeah, that's where I started leaving the trail, or the road. Yeah, whatever that was petered out. This is not where you want to leave the road. I guess I'll have to go further up and see. Alright. Still looking for a trail. Let's see if this works maybe over here, maybe about there. Maybe I'll go look to see if there's another possibility. Branching off into the hills. Tamarisk. Let's see. I'm hoping I see something scuffed into the hillside there. So maybe I'm just about to hit it now. Here's some California quail calling off in the sage scrub. Alright, there's something here. Let's see if this is a used trail here, maybe. Hoping this is a used trail here. We'll find out, I guess. We'll see. So I'm going to start branching off towards the hills, and let's see if this is a used trail or if this will be another one of those peter out deals. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It just might be overgrown. It's definitely a trail. And it's pointing me towards the hills. There's the hill with the flag on it. Right there. Hoping this is it. This might be it. It's slightly overgrown, but so far very followable. I think the ones at the ridgeline, the trails at the ridgeline, are going to be a little more challenging to follow. But this is definitely a trail now. Very good. All right, start following this up, and we'll see how good the good lasts. I know I'm going to have a nice little climb to get up to that ridge, but we're just very slightly going uphill right now. Just very slight uphill. Not much yet, but I know it's going to steepen up when I get closer to the base of the hills. In fact, I think I'm in some kind of a small foothill / alluvial fan right here or something. All right, keep you posted when the climbing begins. I'll see you up there. All right, so I'm making progress. Made a bit of progress already. Came from way down there and making pretty good steep uphill progress right now. A little steep. Nothing horrible, but I figured it would get steep getting up towards the ridgeline. You can tell by my progress, though, I've got a long way to go, elevation-wise. That's not going to be Lexington Peak. It's going to be on the left, and it's going to be higher than that. So, I have a ways to go, but just got to take my time. Soil's got pretty good traction. If you got at least decent hiking shoes, dirt's got pretty good traction. All right, keep you posted on my progress. All right. So, I think you'll notice on this trail, especially if you hike this in April and May, a lot of San Diego bush sunflower up here. A lot of it. Right here, Baihiopsis laciniata. Still in full bloom right now. But, to add to the mix, is Penstemon spectabilis varieties spectabilis. Showy penstemon. It's the second specimen I've seen. The first one in bloom. So this trail is very followable, very easy to follow. Slightly overgrown in spots, but still easy to pick the path. So, and it's heading me the direction I intended to head, towards the ridgeline. So this is a very good sign. Splendid Mariposa lily. Seeing a fair amount of that this year. Yeah. It's a good workout trail, I'll tell you that. Nothing, at least in my opinion, that exceedingly steep. But definitely will get your heart rate going. Okay. All right. Looks like we're heading towards this knoll. I don't know if we're going to bypass it, but we'll see what the trail does. Looks like we're going to bypass it to the right. Pretty out here, I'll tell you that. We're in coastal sage scrub. Wondering if I'm going to be in chaparral near the ridge. We'll see about that. We are making pretty good progress towards the ridgeline. I still expect the ridgeline trail is going to be fainter, so might be a little route finding up there. Some people hike this peak mostly off trail. I've read some trip reports where people just park and just start walking up the slope. I'm trying to follow as much trail as I can, lessen my impact on the land. B, less bushwhacking. So it looks like where this is going, so I can see, seeing what looks like the trail joining right at that saddle. This appears to be heading right towards it. I like this little canyon here too. I'll tell you one thing, it's nice out, but I'm working up a doozy of a sweat right now. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna head downhill, join, I think we're gonna cross this gully here. That's what it looks like. Unless this contours, I don't know. Never been here before, so you guys are finding out right alongside me on this adventure today. Well, it's not really going downhill too much. Nice chaparral yucca. It's a nice tall one. Hespero yucca whippley. All right, so we're not really doing a lot of downhill, just a small dip here. Expecting this hike's going to be an out and back, an out to the ridgeline and to small outs and back. So yeah, looks like here we are, crossing the gully here. And I think we're gonna head towards that saddle, the head of the canyon. There's the canyon right there. Yeah, it's leveled out for a short bit, but I know we're gonna head towards the head wall, and it's gonna steepen up. Right here, looks like we're gonna start climbing up a little more steeply here. Okay. Yeah, it's a very followable trail. Have some light brush here and there. I guess on my hiking map I will show my first bit where I did go the wrong way. I'll probably do that. And then I should be able to point that out because it's right when there's a huge granite slab. Alright. Alright. There's a hill with a flag on it. I wonder if that's going to be 1463. That I don't know yet. Alright, I'll see you at the saddle. Just about at this saddle. Here we go. Okay, let's see. There, so this is a saddle. Just like I thought. We're getting into chaparral now. So, going this way will take me to Peak 1463. Going this way will take me to Lexington Peak. Now, I do see what look like paths growing through here, so we'll see how this works out. There's also a trail going down the backside of the saddle too. So, let's go head up this way. And it's all chaparral on this side now. So let's see. All right. Let's see. Yeah, definitely much more overgrown here. Definitely overgrown. Let's see how followable it is. We're hitting into chamise now. Chamise. And Mission Manzanita over here now. All right. So that's the hill or the peak with the flag on it. So I'm gonna head up to that first. See if that's Peak 1463 or not. All right. Ooh. Oh yeah, yellow rush rose, Crocanthemum scoparium. All right, so it looks like we got some steep work to do over here. And we got some golden yarrow here too. Oh yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see if this will be my first peak of the day. Yeah, the trail heading towards Peak 1463 is not as faint as I thought it was going to be. Very pleasantly surprised. Very well followable. Very followable trail. Just about at the flag. At this peak here. I don't think this one's on peak bagger. Pretty sure this is 1463. So I don't really know any data on this peak here, but I do know this is the highest peak on this side. So I'm just about to summit it right now. All right. Okay. Yep, so the flag I saw is peak 1463. Let's just make the last few steps to get to the top. All right. Let me see. All right. Let's get to the top of this peak. It's an easy little class 2 summit block. Very easy. All right. Peak 1 of the day. Peak 1463. This is the first peak of the day, folks. All right. Cool. So that right there should be Lexington Peak. That should be my next goal. That one looks like I'll have to work quite a bit at that one. This one had some steep spots getting up here too. Boy, is it worth it. Setting on another peak here on peak 1463. All right. So I'll do a little 360 up here. There's a lot of overcast in the area, so I'll just do some light pointing out of things up here. All right, we're going to start by looking roughly east. That's looking down towards the Jamul Casino down there, that big building right there on the slope of that hill. That's the Jamul Casino. So we're going to swing it around more towards the north now. And McGinty Mountain should be that mountain mass over there. That should be McGinty Mountain. Swing it just a little bit more northwest. And right down there is where I was last week. Excuse me. That's Mount Robertson right there. That was last week's hike, which was also a Thursday hike. So that right there is Mount Robertson. That was last week's hike. And then the Chaldean Cross is just underneath it. So I'm going to swing it a little bit more towards the west and northwest. You can kind of see him a little bit in the haze, but I could see Mount Helix right there over by Casa de Oro, La Mesa. And then there's Coles Mountain over there at Mission Trails. And then right here, of course, is Lexington Peak, more towards our west. That's my second goal for the day, and that one looks like it's got a little bit of a climb to get up there, so I'll have a bit of a workout to get up there. So I'm going to swing it to the southwest, and then there's San Miguel Mountain, the top of which is in the marine layer. And then looking more south, looking down towards, I want to say towards, I don't know, Dulcura. Oh, maybe Dulcura is probably more that way. And then I think these are the Jamul Mountains, I believe, as we swing it back towards the east to round out our 360. I'll probably do another viewfinder up there if conditions improve. Another viewfinder. Now I'm going to get my summit selfie and then maybe crack open a water before I go down this steep slope. That was a pretty steep climb to get up to this peak. So it's a good workout. This is a very good workout hike if you're wanting adventure and some good cardio and some good exercise. Strengthen your leg muscles. This is a good hike to do it. It's not extraordinarily long. I mean, I came along that road down there. That's where I came. I parked somewhere over down there, came along that road, and over about there, roughly about there is where I found this trail to come up here. I originally left the trail road down there, and I can see where the granite slabs are where I erroneously left the road there. But yeah, leave it about over there, and you'll see a very, very, very easy to follow use trail. A little bit overgrown and brushy in spots, but easy to follow. Kind of comes up and then it kind of contours around this gully here, that's the gully, goes to that saddle, and then you got a nice little climb to get up here. Good climb, so good exercise to get up here. All right, summit selfie time. Time to start moving on. So, starting to leave Peak 1463. There's good old Glory right there. Didn't expect there was going to be a flag on this peak. I would have expected it more on Lexington Peak's probably better known, but hey, Peak 1463, nice little stop off. Not exactly a walk in the park to get up here. Pretty steep actually, but definitely worth the effort, that is for sure. I'm gonna go descend towards the saddle and start working my way up. I don't know if this trail is gonna go over that knoll right there. I'm not sure, but I will find out. Let's start descending this carefully. It is pretty steep in spots. And then start heading towards Lexington Peak. All right, I'll see you along the way. All right, so I'm just about back at the saddle. Just about back at the saddle again. Very short walk coming down here from the peak. Very short hike to get to the peak from the saddle. Peak 1463. Lexington Peak will definitely be a longer haul. A very tall chaparral here. Yeah, this is where I was thinking here. When I first came from the other direction, I was thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be very overgrown. It's really not. Just right here. A couple of tight spots here and there, but very easily followable trail. Very happy about that. I try to reserve my cross country for very open chaparral and conifer forest. Okay, so this is the saddle. This is where I joined the saddle from here. This is the trail coming up from the bottom of the hill. Now I'm gonna go this way, and I'm wondering if this is gonna go over that peak. This little peaklet here, or whatever this is. Ooh, a red velvet ant. That looks like Desimotilla areola, I believe. And we have a few species of red velvet ant. That's a female because it's wingless. And there's another one. Oh, careful, buddy. Cool, red velvet ant. That's two of them. Now, Desimotilla, or the velvet ants, they're related to ants. They're wasps, so they are related to ants. But there are species of wasp. The males have wings. I've only seen that one time. Okay. But yeah, they're actually a species of wasp. Okay, so now this is where a little due diligence might be needed. Now trail becomes pretty faint over here. I think it goes that way. So let's see. I'm gonna go follow it this way and see. It looks like it kind of gets overgrown over here. Okay, so far so good. It's definitely more overgrown here. A little bit less visible, but it's visible. I'm wondering if this is going to go up to the head wall over there. I'm wondering. There's definitely a trail under my feet. A little bit of rock hopping over here too. So I just gotta kind of be careful. All right, it's definitely followable. I'm hoping this leads over towards that way. Hoping this doesn't go down into the valley. Not, I might have to go cross country along the ridge maybe. But so far, this is just skirting this smaller peak here, it looks like. nice little adventure too. Boy, Rancho San Diego, Dehesa, and Jamul areas in south central San Diego County got a lot of cool little spots you can really get out and have some adventure. All right, so this is definitely neat. Very neat, actually. But yeah, the trail looks faint from Google Earth. Once you're here, it's fairly easy to follow it. Once you get past the saddle, there's the peak right there, Peak 1463, with the American flag on top. That was a cool peak. Look, we got some Turkish rugging here. I wonder if that's Coryzanthe fimbriata, I'm wondering. I know it's a species of Coryzanthe, Turkish rugging. Not going to see it very well on camera because it's a very tiny plant. Wow. Man, these are some cool adventures, I'll tell you. Very cool. Looks like this is heading back towards the ridgeline. So it looks like it ducks under this smaller peak here. As if it's even a peak, I don't even know, I can't even tell. Once I get to the ridgeline, I'll be able to tell. It's on the way back, or maybe when I'm at the ridgeline. Could be a small worthy side trip. Doesn't go too, it shouldn't go really out of the way, really. So the trail is definitely fainter here, but it's there. I'm having no trouble following it at all. It's definitely noticeable. Just pay attention. Look for the well-worn ground underneath you. All right. Pretty easy getting over here too. Not a lot of craziness. So, judging by the look of the land here, oh, it is a small summit. Not much prominence, but I think might be worthy of a side trip. Now, yeah, that could be a nice little side trip on the way back. So now, we're around this small knoll here. Now, we're going to start heading towards Lexington Peak, right over there. When I was on 1463, it looked really far away, but from this vantage point, definitely going to have some work to do, but it doesn't look that bad. Actually, if you're going to think that small peak, the small second peak I pointed out, it's going to have more prominence than I thought. We're going downhill a little bit. It's not going to be like a big mountain peak, but we're going downhill right now. We're going down towards another saddle. So this other peak might have a little more prominence than I thought. A peak having a huge amount of prominence, or a summit, or a hilltop, is not a requirement for me to want to climb it. Just being there makes me want to climb it. Even if it's a small hill, like when I did Hill 681 after hitting Mount Robertson. A small 40-foot knoll, that's good enough for me. It's just another beautiful hilltop I get to visit. So that's the way I look at things. Now, this peak here, Lexington, has, from what I've read, 462 feet of prominence. So it's almost half of a P1K. P1K meaning prominence of 1,000 feet. So it's almost halfway to a P1K. And that's a pretty low elevation peak. It's only 1,525 feet. So for a peak with that elevation, that's not bad. That's not bad prominence for a really low elevation peak. Yeah, so this trail so far, it's very easy to follow. Just watch your step. It's pretty rocky over here, so just mind your steps. But you might be brushing up against shrubs quite often, but it's not a bushwhack, or at least not what I consider a bushwhack. It's a little brushy, and definitely long pants are definitely a good idea on this hike. I have a feeling I'm going to be shaking off some ticks later, but what I do know is that this is a really good workout. It's a really cool hike, and I definitely recommend checking this out. Definitely recommend checking this out. So we're in a really easy part of the ridge right now, where it's just very gently undulating. I just came from behind that summit there. So yeah, I think on the way back out, I might try to reach that cross country maybe on the way back. I was almost going to do it now, but save up my energy for the next big climb up ahead. Looks like once I get over this, I'll have to keep an eye out for the trail getting up to the top of that. Now it's pretty faint. Now the trail's pretty faint over here. So I can see the trail clearly over there. I think I might have veered off of it. Yeah, I think I veered off of it. I think. Or no, that might have been part of it. Yeah, that must have been part of it. All right. There it is, Lexington Peak up ahead. Be peak number 2 of the day. Looks like I'll have some steep climbing to get up there, but I'm not too concerned about that. I do steep slopes all the time, so definitely gonna have to work to earn this one, it looks like. But earning it will be awesome. All right, now if yapping for a while, time to start, or to keep working towards my goal, the next goal. All right, so a small word of caution. As I'm making my way through the last dip or two to get up to Lexington, it does become a little indistinct over here, in this area here. Once we're past, that's the unclimbed peak, the one I didn't climb, right there. So once we get down here, before we start getting towards the summit push, it does become a little indistinct, so just basically kind of follow the ridge line. Follow the ridge line. Just follow the ridge line. And you should, if you lose what you think is, if you think you lose a trail, just follow the ridge line and you should be able to still make your way, because there is a lot of open space here that you should be able to get around the shrubs. So this is an area where it is a little bit much lesser defined. Here it's much lesser defined, but if you follow basically the center of the ridge, you should be able to get back on track. Actually, I'm off track right now, in fact. Yeah, see what I mean? I knew that I had a feeling there was going to definitely be the element of route finding. So now I gotta look to see where the trail goes. Because I see a trail up ahead. I see a pathway over there. But I might actually have to start bushwhacking now. Let me see. I might actually have to start bushwhacking. Okay. So there might be some bushwhacking today. All right. My goal is to aim towards that trail I saw. So I will have to do a little bushwhacking. Okay, so It appears it might be coming from this side here. So yes, there are a few spots on the way towards Lexington Peak where you'll have to kind of pay attention where you're going, just like I had to. So that spot there, after this little hump here, not that, this little hump here is where you might run into some route finding. So just persevere. Keep looking out for this trail ahead of you. Just aim through it and aim for it, and you will have to do some light bushwhacking to get to this spot here. At least from what I could tell. All right. Nothing severe. Pretty easy. But yeah, the trail's definitely a lot less defined in this area. A little more so now. Okay. Alright. So I guess this part might be a little bit of picking her route. But yeah. Not bad though. It's nothing really strenuous or incredibly difficult. But yeah, the trail is definitely less defined. But as you get to this spot, you'll see a parting of the shrubs. Should be good on that. And just aim towards that. Whatever you do, aim towards that, where you see that big rock on top of the mound there. That's your way to get up to Lexington Peak. All right. Let's see if I got more bushwhacking coming up. But I see a pathway over there. If you head towards that, you might have some tricky spots in between. But I think you'll be good to go. Let me see. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, there is a little route finding on the way to Lexington. You might have to go off trail, maybe, in spots. All right, so I get to this spot here. I'm gonna go on the left side of these shrubs here, laurel sumac and mission manzanita. So let's see. So this is kind of where it's a little more cross-country instead of use trail. This is going to be kind of pick your own route. But I do see what looks like a pathway cut into there, so I'm going to aim for that. All right. If I aim for that, I should be good. All right. I'll keep you posted. I think I'm back on track over here. All right, so I did go up a little ways and found what was a path for a while. Now, it's starting to become more of a pick your own route again, but it seems to be the main way here. Let's see. Seems to be. Okay. Now the next route finding task. All right. Looks like I might have to scramble the rocks here. Ooh, California wood sorrel is growing here. Oxalis californica growing here. Nice little patch of it. Yeah. A lot of times I'll see them underneath large shrubs, woodland trees. A lot of times near rocks. Okay. Let's go play picker route. So now we're at a rock outcropping here. All right, which route do I want to take? I can go this way. There's a lot of shrubbery there. Go this way, make a class 2 scramble over here. No matter what, it's going to be at least class 2 getting up here. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna wonder where the trail's gonna be. All right. It's hard to tell. Trying to see if I can see where our trail leads. And you can see right in the foreground down there, down the hill, you can see how indistinct it is, but you can kind of see passageways to get through the shrubs, which just requires some, like I said, there was a little bit of bushwhacking and some brush wading. Now I gotta see what route I'm gonna take to get through these shrubs and see if I can regain that trail or something. So now I don't see any trail at all, so now I'm gonna have to rely on space between the shrubs, because the chaparral is not extremely thickly packed here. All right. So now we're getting more of an off-trail cross-country experience right now in the chaparral. So now we're getting a full bushwhack now. There's an opening over here. Get to this opening, I might be able to see a better route, maybe. All right. So on the way back, I'll definitely have to pick my route carefully to get around this. Get back to the saddle, back to the car. So far, I'm able to get some progress going. It's working out so far. I think I'm almost at that boulder. I don't think that's going to be the exact summit, but I think it'll get me closer to there. Let's see. All right. Okay. There were some slabs now. All right. Whew. It's definitely more traditional bushwhack now. Over here. It's a pretty steep slab, so I'll follow the base of it. That's a pretty steep slab. You'll see good footholds here. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna take a short rest. Whew. Definitely work to do. I'm above 1463. I'm probably not that far from the peak, Lexington Peak. I'm gonna sit down for a minute and kind of cool off for a minute. Catch you on the next clip. Okay, so now I'm just gonna follow the easiest possible terrain to get to, hopefully, soon the summit. I think that was a boulder I saw from down below. Looks a lot smaller up here because I'm on the other side of it. So right now I'm just following just cross country right now. I don't see any, at least not where I am, any semblance of a trail. So I am just wandering this cross country now. So I think One of the biggest challenges for me on this hike will be on the return. When I get past that granite slab, I'm going to have to pick my route to get back very carefully. So I'm going to have to pick a path through the shrubs again. Right here, it's pretty easy. The shrubs are fairly widely spaced, so that's not a huge problem here. Now, my next immediate challenge is finding where the summit is. I'm gonna have to find where the actual summit of this is. If this is gonna be a distinct enough peak to where as soon as I'm standing on it, I know I'm on it, or am I gonna have to wander around for it? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Now you'll definitely have to earn this one. Peak 1463. Easy to follow trail the whole way up. Lexington Peak, not so. You're gonna definitely have to work at this one. Definitely a lot of brush. But hey, sometimes we need a good challenge. All right. Getting pretty high up here on this hill. Getting pretty high up here on it. So I don't know if I'm going to be at the summit soon. Kind of hope so. I think I'm almost there. Okay. Finding the actual peak of this is probably going to require a little bit of poking around. I see a couple contenders. That right there, but where I'm heading also appears to be it. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those where I might have to go to multiple spots to see what's popping. Big old rock pile here. Well, this is the summit of something. Wonder if there's a summit register or anything in here. I'm not sure if this is it or not. Well, I know I'm on the summit plateau, but is it that over there? Or is it over here? I'm not sure yet. Might have to wander over to that other section over there. Might actually be a few feet higher. I don't see a summit register. So, let me go wander over there. All right. I think that's going to be it there. I think that's going to be the peak. So that's where I'm going to aim right now. Try to get to that over there. That looks like that might be a couple feet higher. It's almost negligible, the elevation difference between where I was, that little small rocky spot, or here. So I'm coming downhill a little bit. That sagebrush smells so good up here. All right. So I'm going to call it a summit up here. I will know, at least I've been at both high points. So this is probably where the summit selfie is going to occur. Let's see. All right. Ah, there's a little post there. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Okay. Yeah, this has got to be it here. It's pretty close. At least I know I visited both high points to be safe. All right, well, let's consider this it here. All right, Peak number 2 of the day. Lexington Peak. 1,525 feet. Here in the Jamul area of San Diego County. Wow, all right. This is it. I'm gonna start pointing out some views. All right, actually I'm gonna go zoom back out. So let's see. Let's start by looking east. Roughly east. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom back in again. Or zoom back out. There's my first peak of the day. Peak 1463. Looking pretty far away. It's definitely some work to get up here. I'm not gonna lie. And then that down there should be my third peak if I choose to accept that challenge, which I probably will, because it's on the way back and it doesn't look like it's too far to get up there from where I was. All right, now we're looking north towards the main part of Jamul and Rancho San Diego. Okay, I can't see Mount Robertson anymore because it's behind the other parts of the top of Lexington Peak. Now we're going to switch over towards the northwest, and down below us is a provisional peak on Peak Bagger with the 2 water towers. That's called Cougar Mountain on Peak Bagger. It's about 819 feet. And then we're looking up towards, again, Mount Helix in La Mesa, near La Mesa, and Coles Mountain over at Mission Trails Regional Park. Coles Mountain is just about 65 feet higher than where we are now. Oh, and I think I see Dictionary Hill from here too. Yeah. That's like Dictionary Hill right there. Yeah, that's Dictionary Hill over in Spring Valley. Spring Valley's down there. That's over looking towards Chula Vista, as we're looking more towards the southwest. And then there's San Miguel Mountain. Just the very top of it's in the clouds now. The marine layer's lifting. It's going to start burning up. It's starting to burn off actually already. Should be burning off relatively soon. And there's the road I was following earlier. There's the road I was following, but I didn't go that far. I was way down that way by where the homes are. So yeah, it's too bad that San Miguel Mountain is not legally accessible for hikers. And that's southeast. I believe those are the Jamul Mountains. That's a small range of mountains I've never hiked before. One of those is probably the Jamul Mountains high point. And I'm going to rant it back out to the east. And again, peak 1463, my first peak of the day. Time for a summit selfie. So now, my big thing is navigating my way back through all this chaparral. I got to get past where that boulder is there. That's my landmark. If I can get towards that, I'll definitely have a lot of route finding to get back down along the lower part of the ridgeline where the trail's better defined. Once you're up here, the trail's pretty much non-existent. At least that I can tell. Whatever it was overtaken by nature. So if you're trying to hike Lexington Peak, you'll definitely have an element of cross-country hiking. And if you like cross-country hiking, you'll like this, believe me. All right, time for a couple of summit shots. And I'm going to start working my way along the ridge and try to see if I can get to that third peak. I don't know the elevation of that one yet, but we'll see. All right, so I'm back on the other high point. Like I said, it's pretty close. This might actually be a couple feet higher. I'm not sure. So that's why I'm glad I visited both. So I'm just going to take a quick selfie up here too. Yeah, this could also be the high point. It's very close. So yeah, I kind of was wondering if this is going to be one of those summits where one spot looks the highest. See another spot, you go over there, think that's the highest. You look back to the first spot. Oh, that could still be higher. Yep, Lexington Peak's one of those. It's got a relatively gentle summit plateau. Cool peak though. Yeah, that's definitely higher. That's definitely higher. So yeah, that's where the summit is, definitely. Yeah, slightly higher. My head's above it because the elevation difference is very minimal. My head's above it, but my feet are below it. So I'm going to continue working my way back down this ridge. Like I said, I definitely have the challenge of route finding ahead of me to get back where I came up. So I'll definitely have some bushwhacking ahead of me, and then eventually I should be able to meet up with the main trail. So this is definitely a pick your adventure kind of summit push if you're trying to get to Lexington Peak. Very much worth it. If you like climbing peaks, if you're a peak climber, I know a lot of people use the word peak bagger. I just use that word when I'm usually referring to the website. For me, the term peak bagging, it's like it's almost like you feel almost like the sense of conquering a peak. I don't like feeling like that. I have a lot of immense respect for these peaks, and I love getting up to them. And to me, it feels more like a privilege to get up to them. Yes, I might have worked my butt off to get to them. Some peaks, yes. This one was definitely in the moderate category. Nothing extraordinarily hard. It's in the moderate category because of the route finding, and there are some steep sections. But it's not a really extremely hard hike. But it's a workout. You're still going to work to get to it. Believe me, you're going to work to it. But I've been on peaks that were really hard to get to, that required scrambling, off-trail, bushwhacking, you name it. I haven't done any extremely hard peaks that would be extremely strenuous. Not like Cactus to Clouds or anything like that. I've not done that. But I've done some strenuous peak climbs, and I've had route finding and all the other good stuff. Alright, I think I found the old trail. Yeah, I was way off. Yeah, this looks like the old trail. Yeah, I was a little closer to that boulder. That was my landmark right there. That was my main landmark, but it looks like I'm back on path right now on this old eroded fire break or use trail or something. Or dirt road, I don't even know. Old Jeep road. I'm definitely on the path now. So maybe the route finding on the way back won't be as crazy. So yeah. Yeah, because by the time I got to this point, I was completely off trail. I remember that broken yucca stalk right there. I was just maybe 20 yards away from a followable trail. Or at least what seems to be followable now. But hey, well, all it does is show me that I do have a pretty decent sense of route finding. Like I said, I don't always hike the peaks that have trails. I do a lot of peaks that don't have trails that require me to find my own way. Alright. Looks like there might be some route finding here. Like I said, it's all part of the adventure. And to be able to do this, to be able to do that kind of hiking, you definitely need to have some level of confidence in yourself. I like to say that I do have some confidence. Now there's a path going this way. I don't know, but I think if I go this way, this might take me. I don't want this to take me down the mountain too early. Yeah, I'm definitely further off from where I came up. Yeah, this might actually head me directly down. So I think I'm going to go back and maybe do the cross country this way, maybe. Just continue. Because this might actually lead down the hill. Like I said, I want to do this as an out and back. I want to try to see if I can visit that other peak. as far as I keep going, I should be able to run into that other trail again when I get down that way. So I'll just have to, just do the cross-country route here. Sorry, Mr. Chemise. Oh boy. Alright, it's pretty open over here, actually. Oh boy. Alright, well, enough yapping, more route finding as I go along this ridge. Alright, so I'm right back on course on how I ascended. I'm right by this rock outcrop here. I remember this really steep slab. So I'm back on course from where I came. I know I got a little off on it for a minute. Now what I need to do is just get my way down this slab without busting myself. Let's see. See if I can maneuver my way down here a little bit. So yeah, I ended up right back at this slab where I came up. Oh, sorry, buckwheat. Dang. All right. Okay, I'm just about back at this little passageway here. Oh, here's a plant called odora. Porophyllum gracile. This one should be very pungent. Oh yeah, Porophyllum gracile. I've only seen this one a couple times. It's a member of the sunflower family. It's extremely pungent. Very pungent. Extremely pungent. Porophyllum gracile. So I'm back at what looks like a use trail again. So that part, I think that part was the more challenging route finding portion. One of the more challenging portions of the route finding on this hike. Now, I know I will have a few spots down the hill a little ways, but that was where I had to completely hike cross country the rest of the way to the peak. Again, study the lay of the land. Definitely look up your imagery on Google Earth before coming out to these type of hikes, especially ones that require off trail, because that's the way you're going to be able to navigate, is get an idea of the lay of the land before you actually strike out to hike it. It's probably one of the best things you could do is study the land. Google Earth, look at the topo maps, so you know at least approximately what route you're going to take. And it's helped me out many times. So my pinky toe's caught in my sock. Kind of making it uncomfortable. Alright. Okay, nice and easy. Gentle steps. Marine layer's breaking up. I should be back before it starts getting warm. Even though temperatures are only supposed to be about average, so nothing extremely hot. So yeah, I'm back on kind of a trail now. All right, I'll make my way down to that little wave in the hills, and that's where I think my next route finding challenge might be. I'll see you down the way. All right, now that the sun's starting to break through and the marine layer's thinning out, so like I said, I think those are the Jamul mountains there, but behind it, it's hard to see, but in the haze, it looks like Otay Mountain back there. I think it's Otay Mountain. Yeah, it's very beautiful out here. Yeah, this is a pretty easily followable area here. I don't know if I really consider this a true trail, but it's definitely easy to follow. It's easy to get around here. I've been noticing a lot of this today too. A lot of broken chaparral yucca stalks. This is horrible. I don't know what's causing this. What's causing these yucca stalks to break? But I've seen several of them like that. So now that plant has put all of its energy into producing a flower stalk that got broken. And now it means it's a single rosette yucca, and it's monocarpic. Each rosette dies after it sends up flowers and seeds. And the sad thing is, it sent up the stalk without sending up flowers and seeds. So that poor yucca is going to senesce in vain, which is a shame. Very shameful. I mean, not shameful meaning like shame on the yucca, but it's a shame the situation happened. I feel bad, because now that yucca won't be able to reproduce. So yeah, it's looking up towards Lexington Peak. Really cool adventure. You will get a sense of adventure on this one. Like I said, there's a good trail getting up to that saddle, and even a little bit past that saddle coming this way. But once we get into this terrain, beyond this little intermediate peak here, it's definitely a little more rugged and definitely a little more route finding. Right now I'm actually on a followable trail, an old use trail here, or path. So things are going pretty well as I make my way towards that spot there. If I remember correctly, that area is right there is a little bit less defined. So I'll have to worm my way around the brush there for a while. But the hardest part was just navigating my way up to the peak. And honestly, the hardest route finding was really not that hard in the sense of that, because it's the highest point in the area. You just keep going uphill until you get to the highest point in the area, and you're good to go, pretty much. So it's not like you're going to be going for miles of trailless terrain. You will have trailless terrain, but just pick your way up and you're good. Okay, so now we're getting into that other lesser defined section here. This is where it's going to be a little bit of wiggling around. I don't anticipate anything severe, but there will be some light brush wading and stuff here. Some gentle bushwhacking, and here's a trail again, I think. So yeah, my next goal is get up to that peak there, that other unnamed peak. That'll be my third peak of the day. So let's see how that works out for me. I'm hoping to get up there too. That's going to be an off-trail excursion too. So, guess I'll keep on working my way along this beautiful ridgeline, and I'll see you on the next stop. So far, I've had a very easily maneuvered hike back to this point here. This is some of the spots where it becomes a little less distinct, but I've been able to for the most part, follow some little semblance of a pathway to get over to this point here. Right over to about here, and then it looks at dead ends. So what I do is I come around here over this little spot and I'm back on the trail. So usually, in my experience, I usually make more snafus on the way back than on the way to. Today so far has not been the case. I've been pretty good at sticking to the pathway back, and I'm on a very narrow faded use trail right now that I followed to get here. So doing pretty darn well. Even better than I thought. I thought I would probably have to go, stop, turn around, reassess, go, stop, turn around. had that happen a good few times. Last time I really had a big issue with that was back in January on my hike to Peak 1457 near Crest Ridge Ecological Reserve. That's where I had some route finding. I went down a different angle and ended up having a really gnarly bushwhack on the way back down. That's the same day I did Kumeyaay Promontory and Stelzer Summit. So if you want to check that video out, you get to see the kind of stuff I contended with as I was leaving Peak 1457. Not having any of that issue here. Alright, so we're climbing back up towards this next shallow pass between a little tiny knoll and the next unnamed peak I'm hoping to visit. So we'll see how that goes. See if the Alright, so back at this small pass here. See this little mini hill? And that peak right there. I'm gonna try to go find a route to get up there. It's a nice little climb to get back up to this saddle here. So now, what I want to do is try to climb this peak here. Let's see. Look for a good cross-country route to get up there. Let's see. See where I'm going to leave the trail. I wonder if I should take a direct southerly ascent. I'm going downhill right now slightly, so I don't lose too much elevation. But I do want to see if I can directly ascend this way up to the peak. Let's see. Look for a more lightly brushy route. Okay. Let's see. All right. I guess I'll leave the trail about over here. Right over here. Just past that knoll. And there's San Miguel right there. San Miguel Mountain. Free of the clouds now. Really neat. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave the trail here again and start working my way up towards this peak here. Let's see how this works out. Let's see. All right. This will definitely be some more wading and stuff. This will be an off-trail adventure here. Okay. Try to see if I can make quick work of this one. I don't know. We'll see how this works. It's now a bushwhack, so I'm assuming that's not going to be the case. See some lighter brush over here. Alright, so I'm going to send this for a while. Turn the camera off for a few. I'll see you along the way. Alright, so a nice little chunk of the way up. Ready to approach another granite slab over here. Ooh, there's a tarantula hawk wasp. I think that's the first one I've seen this year. Alright. Not sure what species of pepsis that is. I think that's the first one I've seen in 2025. Okay. I think the peak's going to be over here. Alright. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh, I scraped my knee. Son of a biscuit. Alright. Okay. This is a tougher summit block here. Almost on the top of this one. Oh boy. Steep coming up here. Alright. Let's see. Let's see if I can get over here. Okay, very good. I think it's as far as I'm going to go. All right, well, here's the other peak. All right. Get back left. Navigate my way down. Here's a class 3 summit block here. I'm good. I'm good on this. All right. Pretty cool. All right. Find a place to sit my butt down and enjoy being up here. Peak number 3 of the day. I think this one's in the 1400, close to 1400 feet. All right. Take a break. Find a place to sit if I can. All right, let's see if I can navigate my way around this. Ay, ay, ay. Oh boy. All right. Go up to this one. Ooh, I'll sit on this one. All right. Take a summit selfie up here. Sit down for a while and sip on some water. I'm going to do a quick 360 up here if I can safely. I don't have a lot of room to stand over here, but I'll start by looking north towards Jamul and in Rancho San Diego. Yeah, well, right there again in the foreground is Mount Robertson. That's Mount Robertson right there. Northwest over towards Mount Helix again. West towards Lexington Peak. Southwest towards now the clearly visible San Miguel Mountain. All right, very cool. So I'm going to get down south. It's looking over towards Mexico, not that far probably. And again, I think these are the Jamul Mountains here to the southeast, with Otay Mountain, that hazy ridge in the background. Oh, I can even see Tecate Peak or Cuchama, very hazy in the background. And back to the east, there we got Peak 1463, my first peak of the day. First of 3 peaks today. And then there's Lyons Peak up in the distance in the haze. All right, cool. Now I got to find the best way to get down this and start working my way back towards the trail. There's some ravens. So now what I need to do is find a good route to get down. This is a class 2 plus summit area. To get up to the actual highest rock is going to require class 3. But this jumble section here is class 2 plus. So it's kind of between class 2 and basic class 3, but closer to class 2. I wouldn't consider it quite class 3 yet. But there are a couple of awkward angles and jumbles to maneuver to get up to here. Like I said, I went up to this one here top, just standing on this little ledge here. So yeah, this is the highest boulder here, but it's something a little beyond my comfort zone. So I'll be happy here. And look at these canyon views too. These beautiful valley views. Very beautiful here. All right, I gotta start ambling my way down, get back to the trail, and then follow it down to the saddle. The saddle's just down there, so I'm not that far from the saddle. Once I get back to the saddle, it's just going back down along that gully, around the side of this knoll here, and that's it. That's about it. All right, time to start working my way back. So that was the rock I was visiting right there with that little ledge on the right. Ooh, an Anna's hummingbird. Right there, Calypte Anna. One of the larger species of hummingbird. I think it's our largest species here in Southern California. And it's picking up, there's still some flowers on the Mission Manzanita. So it's getting a little nectar feed right now. And it looks like there's a Xylocopa bee. That black bee flying around. I think it's a Xylocopa, probably Californica. But yeah, looks like an Anna's hummingbird. Okay, so yeah, I came down the other side of the rock jumble here. I was able to find a pretty gentle class 2 way. A little bit higher on the end of class 2, so I say class 2 plus, but not as tricky as the ascent. Now I'm just trying to get down below the scramble zone. Let's see. Trying to get down below the scrambles. So this is the only, well, there were a couple of granite slabs that I hiked earlier. But this was the biggest scramble of the day, which is cool. I need to really practice my class 3 a lot more. Should have brought some climbing gloves. My hands were sweaty. Would have been slippery on that granite. Okay. So now I just gotta aim back down towards the trail. Let's see. Just gotta aim back down towards the trail and head back towards the saddle. Definitely a nice adventure today. This was a good adventure. Definitely a good hike. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can find where the trail is from here. This would have been a pretty good ascent line here for this peak. It's so inclined. So a 3-peak day. I'm glad I made the side trip to this one. Really glad, actually. That's what I need to do, is just carefully make my way down this. Okay. I think I still got a little distance to go before I'm at the trail. So now I gotta do, looks like I'll have to do a little bushwhacking here. Maybe some more small scrambles. Okay, let's see if I can get down this. Okay. Oh boy. Now I'm thigh deep in brush right now. Or actually chest deep in brush again. Alright, this ended up not being a very good descent route. After all, now it's a full throttle bushwhack. This is not what I intended. Oh boy, sorry buckwheat. This is not what I intended. Right here. Probably should just follow the way back. This brush is thicker than I thought it was going to be. Not exactly what I wanted right now. Oh boy, this is not fun. Right here. Oh, sorry, sagebrush. Oh boy, this is not what I wanted to happen. Still not back at the trail. I'll see you on the next clip. I gotta focus here. Yeah, I picked a bad descent route. Very bad descent route. It was a full thrash bushwhack. That was a terrible descent route I chose. Okay, I think I'm back on the trail now. Whew, yeah. Yeah, so I came down, basically came down from there, roughly about there, kind of at an angle down here. Not recommended. The ascent route that I took up was more recommended as a descent route. So, I do not recommend the descent route I took. I ended up having to fully thrash through sagebrush and buckwheat, which I try not to have to do. Alright, so I think my trail goes up this way. That was a full bushwhack. That was actually the hardest bushwhacking of the day. Even more so than by Lexington Peak. So don't choose that descent route. I came up the east, went up east towards the ridge, and I came down south, roughly south. South is not recommended. Alright. Should be back in the saddle pretty soon. That kind of tired me out. That was a tough thrash. Feel bad because I did end up thrashing through some sage scrub. But at that point, no matter which way I go, I'm going to be thrashing. Alright, so just about back in the saddle, and it's on trail and use trail the rest of the way. So, no longer any route finding, because I'm not going up to any more side trips. Alright, so here's a saddle. I'm gonna catch my breath for a minute. It's a cool peak, but go up the west side like I did. Don't come down the south side, the south or southeast side like I did. It's gonna be a full thrash and bushwhack. Not worth it, especially because I try to leave a little less impact, and I ended up bushwhacking through some beautiful sagebrush and buckwheat, and did ensnare a few branches, which I feel bad about. So a little bit less brushy on the west side of the ridge for that peak. All right, well, there's peak 1463, gold glory on top of it. Now I'm going to start descending back to that road and then back to my car. So this should be a cakewalk compared to that last little itty bitty thrash fest, which is actually the toughest part of my day. All right, here I go, down and down. Alright, so I've been making some pretty good progress. I'm well off the ridgeline now, heading down towards that old dirt track down there. So, no more off-trail craziness for me. It's all regular trail walking the rest of the way back. And there's good old Lexington Peak over there again. Yeah, that's where I was a little while ago. And that's leading up towards that third peak. That's not the actual summit there. Well, that's the same rise where it's located at its apex. So it ended up being a 3-peak day. Unexpectedly, I anticipated this was going to be a 2-summit day, but seeing that there was a nice little peak in between 1463 and Lexington Peak, I was relatively close enough to the trail to make a quick strikeout to attain. I figured I'm already there, may as well just do it. Sometimes I like to add on to my adventures when I can. But yeah, there's beautiful peak 1463. That was my first peak. So I did end up with some easily navigable trail to 1463, some easy to negotiate cross country to Lexington Peak, and even some class 2 plus rock scrambling to the middle peak. I don't know the elevation for that one yet, because it wasn't a planned hike to get up there. I just noticed it being there, thinking to myself, yeah, I should try to reach that one too. So it was not planned, so I didn't have it planned. So I didn't really look at the topo maps for that one. So that was kind of an unexpected little treat with a little off-trail ambling and scrambling. All right. Making my way steeply down this, back down towards the bottom of the valley, and I'll keep you posted. I've made it down quite a ways. Yeah, that's where the second peak is, above that. And then there's 1463 again. Can't even see Lexington from here. So I've got some thick leaf yerba santa growing here. These tall spindly shrubs here. Some Eriodictyon crassifolium, variety crassifolium. Past their blooms, looks like they're going into seed now. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't point out on the way up. Yes, we do have yerba santa growing here. Very beautiful plant. Some younger specimens here along the side of the trail. Unless those are root shoots from the adult plants. Alright, so gradient is lessening. Just gotta make it back to the road. Just hoof it along that for a little while, and then should be back at the car. Yeah, so this part of the trail is a little overgrown, but it's definitely easy to follow. There's a path between the shrubs, so you can kind of see it cutting its way through. This is probably not a very often hiked area, I'm assuming. Almost back at the road, actually. The houses are pretty close. Yeah, you gain elevation to that ridgeline pretty quickly once you get past this initial gentle, probably a little alluvial fan over here. Then you get towards the base, then you really start climbing. There's laurel sumac. There's a lot of laurel sumac here as well, and a lot of white sage. quite a bit of that along here too. Very beautiful. All right. Just about back at the road, probably within a minute and a half or so. See you when I'm there. Alright, looks like there's a junction here. There's a trail going that way too. I went on this way, so if you get out to this area here from the road, left fork goes I don't know where. You want to take this right fork. It starts off kind of inconspicuous, but it becomes a lot easier to see. But I'm just about here at the junction with the road. So make a left on this road, go over that hump, and back towards my car. Beautiful hike. All right. Definitely good to get this hike early in the day. It's getting warm. Not too bad, but it's definitely warm out. Look at that beautiful laurel sumac. All right. I'll see you near the end of this one. Just following the road back to my car. Alright, so I'm working my way back. I'm wondering what this fence is here. Just curious. I wonder if there's a vernal pool habitat in there or something. This is a beautiful area. There's peak 1463. That's where I was, the first peak. But yeah, I wonder if there's a vernal pool in there or something. There's a big depression in the ground. This is near where I first left the road, over by that clearing there. That's where I first left it to attempt to find the trail to get up to the ridgeline, which failed. Yeah, I remember there's a big granite slab right there. Here's that first clearing. It first looked like there was a use trail starting off. Thinking, okay, looks like I'm good to go. And that ended up not being it. Like I said, you'll see the trail branching off to the right. So, should be no mystery. So yeah, there might be a vernal pool or something in there. Yeah, it's pretty nice out here. It's definitely worth the effort. Kind of sad that I bushwhacked through some beautiful sagebrush and buckwheat. Not too happy about that, but I kind of put myself in a position of being stuck, so I had to get myself out. I'm not a big fan of bushwhacking and sagebrush and buckwheat. It's not as hardy as chaparral shrubs, but kind of put myself in that position by following a different descent line, making a different descent line in it. We ended up in a really tall thicket. So I'll just enjoy a peaceful last few minutes before I end up out by my road, where I'm parked across the street. Enjoy the last few minutes of peace along this route here. Shouldn't be too much longer before I'm back. It's beautiful out here though. So peaceful looking. Did I come out this way? I don't know. I think I stayed on the road. I'm going to stay on the road. It's quite an adventure today. Let's see. Well, just about back at the gate. Proctor Valley Road. There's my car, waiting for me to get in it. Probably blast the air conditioning. Probably be sunny and hot in there by now. It's starting to warm up. It's not too bad. Kind of glad I did what I did earlier. So yep, there's Proctor Valley Road. Just a very tiny, narrow area to park right here by this gate. So no motorbikes and cars and off-road vehicles here. So don't park here. You'll be blocking the gate. So where I parked is right there. Right where that gate is now. This is National Wildlife Refuge. Alright, so this is going to do it for me. Before I go though, look at these massive laurel sumacs. These are massive. Look at these. Look at how huge the trunks are on these. Oh boy, these things are massive. Dang. These are huge laurel sumacs. So you know you're near where you're going to park. You see that eucalyptus tree right there. And you see that gate. Alright, there's Lexington Peak up there. Way up there. Alright, this is going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this adventure like I enjoyed presenting it to you. And I'll see you on the next hike.